Ambassador Sarah Chen walked through the long hallway toward the Galactic Council chambers. Her black shoes clicked against the smooth metal floor. The walls were covered with pictures of alien species from across the galaxy. Each picture showed a different world, a different people who had joined the Confederation. Sarah had been Earth's voice in this place for 3 years now. 3 long years of careful words and patient meetings. The other aliens still looked at humans like they were children playing with adult toys. They thought Earth was weak and stupid. The council chamber doors opened with a soft hiss. Inside, representatives from 847 different species sat in rows that went up to the ceiling. Some looked like giant insects. Others were made of living crystal. A few were just floating balls of energy in metal suits. Sarah took her place at the small podium in the center. Above her, thousands of alien eyes watched. Some were curious. Most were bored. A few looked angry. "Honored members of the Confederation," Sarah began. Her voice was clear and strong. "I come before you today to request full membership for humanity." A low buzz filled the chamber. Some aliens clicked their claws. Others made sounds that might have been laughter. The Zephyrian representative stood up. He looked like a tall, thin man with blue skin and too many arms. "Ambassador Chen," he said in a voice like silk, "humans have been part of this confederation for only 50 Earth years. Your species is still very young in the ways of space." Sarah nodded politely. She had heard this before. "That is true, Representative Vexhal. But in those 50 years, humans have proven their worth. We have helped solve the food crisis on Kepler Prime. Our doctors found a cure for the Gray Death that was killing millions on the outer worlds. Human engineers built the new jump gates that cut travel time in half." "Yes," said the Kethvar delegate. He was 7 feet tall with gray skin and red eyes. His voice sounded like grinding metal. "Humans are good workers, good soldiers. This is why we keep you around." More sounds that might have been laughter came from the crowd. Sarah felt anger rise in her chest, but she kept her face calm. "General Thakmore, humans offer more than just labor. We bring new ideas. We solve problems in ways others cannot. We adapt to any situation." "Adapt?" General Thakmore's red eyes glowed brighter. "You mean you survive like insects? This is not the same as wisdom." The Zephyrian representative smiled. "Ambassador Chen, please understand. Full membership in the Confederation comes with great responsibility. It means having a vote on matters of war and peace. It means helping decide the fate of entire worlds. Are humans ready for such power?" Sarah straightened her shoulders. "Yes, we are. Give us the chance to prove it." She spent the next hour explaining humanity's proposal. Earth wanted to share its technology with other worlds. Human doctors would teach alien healers new ways to fight disease. Human farmers would show others how to grow food in harsh places. Human engineers would help build better cities and ships. When she finished, the chamber was quiet for a long moment. "We will consider your request," said the council speaker. He was an ancient being made of living stone. His voice was like rocks falling. "The vote will happen in 7 days." Sarah bowed and left the chamber. Outside, her assistant James Wong was waiting for her. "How did it go?" James asked as they walked back to the human embassy. "Same as always," Sarah said. "They listen, but they don't hear us. They see us as useful pets, not equals. Maybe it's time to show them what we're really capable of," James said quietly. Sarah looked at him with sharp eyes. "That's not our way, James. We're here to build bridges, not burn them." But even as she said it, Sarah wondered if diplomacy would ever be enough. That night, in a private meeting room high above the council chambers, 3 aliens sat around a table. Representative Vexhal of the Zephyrians was there. So was General Thakmore of the Kethvar. The third was a creature that looked like a giant spider made of metal. "The humans are becoming a problem," Vexhal said. His many arms moved as he talked. "Their membership request shows they want real power in the Confederation." General Thakmore nodded. "My intelligence reports say they have more ships than they claim. Hidden shipyards, secret research stations. They are planning something." The spider creature clicked its metal claws. The Mechanic Collective agrees. "Humans are too unpredictable. They invent new technologies too quickly. Soon they will not need us to build their machines." "Then we are all in agreement," Vexhal said. "Humanity cannot be allowed to gain full membership. They threaten the natural order of things. What do you suggest?" asked the spider creature. Vexhal smiled, showing teeth like blue glass. "The ambassador must not be allowed to speak again. Make it look like human terrorists did it." That will give us reason to declare Earth a rogue state. General Thakmore's red eyes glowed with pleasure. My people can handle this quietly. One shot during her speech tomorrow. The assassin will not live to talk. And then? Asked the spider creature. Then we send a peacekeeping fleet to Earth, General Thakmore said. To restore order, of course. A few dozen worlds will make good examples of what happens to species that threaten the Confederation. The three aliens shook hands, claws and appendages. They thought they were very clever. Back at the human embassy, Sarah Chen sat at her desk writing her final speech. She planned to offer the Confederation something special tomorrow. Humanity's greatest secret. For 50 years, while the galaxy saw humans as simple workers and soldiers, Earth's brightest minds had been busy. They had taken alien technology and made it better. Much better. Human ships could travel faster than anyone knew. Human weapons were more powerful than they looked. Human computers could think in ways that scared even their creators. But Sarah believed in peace. She wanted to share these advances with the galaxy. She wanted to show that humans could be trusted with power because they used it to help others, not hurt them. She finished writing and sealed the document in a secure folder. Tomorrow she would offer the Confederation a partnership unlike anything they had ever seen. Outside her window, the space station's lights twinkled like stars. Ships from 100 worlds came and went through the docking bays. It was beautiful and peaceful. Sarah went to bed thinking about the future. About human children playing with alien children on distant worlds. About human scientists working with alien researchers to unlock the secrets of the universe. About peace. She did not know that tomorrow would change everything. In the shadows between the lights, small ships with no markings moved into position. General Thakmore's assassin checked his weapon one last time. The plasma rifle was charged and ready. By tomorrow night, Sarah Chen would be dead. And humanity would learn what happens when you try to join a club that doesn't want you. Sarah Chen woke up early on the morning of the vote. She had slept badly, dreaming of dark ships and red eyes. But when she looked in the mirror, her face was calm and determined. Today would change everything for humanity. One way or another, James Wong met her at the embassy entrance with her morning briefing. The vote is scheduled for 1000 hours, he said. You'll have 15 minutes to make your final statement. Sarah nodded and took the secure folder from her desk. Inside were the technical specifications for humanity's real capabilities. Jump drives that could cross the galaxy in days instead of months. Weapons that could crack planets. Medical technology that could bring the dead back to life. Are you sure about this? James asked quietly. Once we show them what we can really do, there's no going back. If we want to be equals, we have to act like equals, Sarah said. No more hiding. No more pretending to be weak. They walked to the council chambers together. The hallways were busier than usual. Representatives from major species had come to watch the vote. Some looked curious. Others looked worried. Sarah noticed more Kethvar soldiers than normal. They stood at every corner, their gray faces showing nothing. General Thakmore had brought his personal guard. Extra security for the vote, James said when he saw her looking. Something felt wrong, but Sarah could not say what. She had learned to trust her instincts over the years. Right now, those instincts were screaming at her to run, but she was Earth's ambassador. She had a job to do. The council chamber doors opened and Sarah walked inside. 847 species watched her take her place at the podium. The chamber was fuller than she had ever seen it. Honored members, Sarah began. 3 years ago, you allowed humanity to speak in these halls as observers. Today I ask you to let us join you as equals. She opened her secure folder and activated the holographic display. Technical diagrams filled the air above her head. Ships that looked like flying cities. Weapons that could destroy moons. Computers that thought faster than any living being. The chamber erupted in shocked voices. Aliens clicked, buzzed, roared, and whistled in their own languages. Many sounded afraid. This is what humanity has been building in secret, Sarah said. Her voice carried over the noise. We could have used these weapons to conquer worlds. Instead, we offer to share them in friendship. In the high seats, Representative Vexhal and General Thakmore exchanged a quick look. This was not part of their plan. The humans were supposed to look weak when they died, not terrifying. General Thakmore touched a button on his wrist. Far below in the chamber, a Kethvar soldier dressed as a maintenance worker raised a small plasma rifle. The weapon was hidden inside a tool case. Sarah continued her speech. We believe the galaxy is stronger when all species work together. These technologies can end hunger on 1,000 worlds. They can cure diseases that have killed billions. They can take us to new galaxies beyond the edge of space. The assassin took aim. The rifle's targeting system locked onto Sarah's heart. His finger moved to the trigger. We ask only for the chance to prove that power shared is power multiplied, Sarah said. That trust given is trust returned. That peace is not weakness, but the greatest strength of all. The plasma bolt fired. Sarah saw a flash of green light from the corner of her eye. She had just enough time to realize what was happening before the superheated plasma burned through her chest. The pain was enormous, but it lasted only a second. Sarah fell to the floor, her blood spreading across the white tiles. The secure folder scattered its contents around her body. For a moment, the chamber was completely silent. Then the screaming started. "Assassin!" someone shouted. "Human terrorist!" The Kethvar soldier had already dropped the weapon and was running for the exit. But he never made it. Other Kethvar soldiers cut him down with their own weapons. They made sure he died instantly. Representative Vexhel stood up quickly. His blue face looked shocked, but his eyes were cold and calculating. "Security, lock down the chamber." This was clearly a human plot to threaten the council. "No." James Wong ran toward Sarah's body, but security guards grabbed him. "She came here in peace. This is murder." General Thakmore's voice boomed over the chaos. "Search the human embassy immediately. Find evidence of this terrorist cell. Earth must answer for this attack on the Confederation." Within an hour, Kethvar soldiers had discovered weapons and attack plans hidden in the human embassy. The evidence was perfect, too perfect, but in the shock and fear after Sarah's death, no one questioned it carefully. The council speaker, his voice heavy with sadness, made the announcement. "Ambassador Sarah Chen has been murdered by human extremists who sought to threaten this assembly with illegal weapons. All diplomatic relations with Earth are suspended immediately. Humanity is declared a rogue state." James Wong was arrested along with the rest of the embassy staff. As they dragged him away, he shouted, "She came here to offer you partnership. She died trying to make peace." But no one listened. The news traveled fast. Within hours, every human colony in space knew that their ambassador was dead, killed while trying to offer friendship to the galaxy. On Earth, President Elena Vasquez received the report in her office. She read it 3 times before her hands started shaking with rage. Admiral Marcus Torres was in a meeting with his fleet commanders when the message arrived. He read the first line and went very still. Then he read the rest. His face turned to stone. "Sir?" asked Captain Rodriguez. "What is it?" Torres looked up at his officers. These were people who had trained their whole lives to protect humanity, to explore the stars in peace, to defend Earth from those who would harm her children. "They murdered Ambassador Chen," he said quietly, "blamed us for it. The Confederation is sending a fleet to punish Earth for her death." The room exploded in angry voices. Captain Rodriguez slammed her fist on the table. "How many ships are they sending?" Torres checked the intelligence report. 50,000 warships. They expect to finish us in a week. "Our fleet has only 200 ships," said Commander Singh. "How can we possibly fight 50,000? Torres stood up slowly. He walked to the window and looked out at Earth's blue oceans. Somewhere down there, Sarah Chen had grown up. She had dreamed of a galaxy where humans and aliens could be friends. They had killed her for it. "Gentlemen," Torres said without turning around, "for 50 years we have pretended to be weak. We let them think we were just good workers and soldiers. We hid our real capabilities because we wanted to be accepted." He turned to face his officers. His eyes were like winter storms. Ambassador Chen believed in peace. She died trying to build bridges. But some bridges can only be built on the ashes of those who would burn them down. Torres walked back to the table and pressed a button. Holographic displays showed the real size of humanity's fleet. Not 200 ships, but 20,000. Hidden shipyards throughout human space. Weapons that could crack planets. AI systems that could outthink any living mind. The officers stared in shocked silence. "Send a message to every human ship in space," Torres said. "Tell them Ambassador Chen is dead. Tell them the galaxy thinks we are weak prey. Tell them it's time to remind the universe what happens when you hunt the apex predator." He looked around the room at faces filled with cold fury. They wanted a war. Now they have one. President Elena Vasquez stood before the emergency session of the Global Parliament. Behind her, a massive screen showed Sarah Chen's face. Below it were the words, Ambassador Sarah Chen, murdered while seeking peace. The Parliament Hall was packed. Representatives from every nation on Earth sat in tense silence. In the gallery above, military leaders and senior government officials waited for the president's words. "My fellow humans," President Vasquez began. Her voice was steady, but her eyes burned with controlled fury. 3 days ago, our voice of peace was silenced by cowards who feared what humanity could become. She paused and looked across the faces before her. Ambassador Chen died believing that words could build bridges between worlds. She was wrong, but her death has taught us a valuable lesson. The president pressed a button on her podium. The screen behind her changed to show a map of human space. Red dots marked alien fleets moving toward Earth's colonies. The Galactic Confederation has declared us a rogue state. Their fleets are moving to attack our homes. They believe we are weak. They believe we will surrender without a fight. They believe we are prey. President Vasquez's voice grew harder. They are about to learn why humans conquered an entire planet before we ever left it. Admiral Torres stepped forward from the side of the stage. His uniform was crisp, his medals gleaming, but his face looked like carved granite. For 50 years, Torres said, humanity has hidden its true strength. We wanted to be accepted by the galaxy. We wanted to prove we could be trusted with power. So we showed them only our peaceful side. He gestured to the screen, which now showed the official size of Earth's fleet. 200 ships, tiny compared to the alien armadas bearing down on them. This is what the aliens think they're facing, Torres said. 200 ships crewed by primitive humans with borrowed technology. The screen changed again. Now it showed the real numbers. 20,000 ships, hidden shipyards and asteroid belts, weapons platforms disguised as mining stations, defense networks that spanned entire solar systems. The Parliament Hall erupted in shocked voices. Even Earth's leaders had not known the full extent of their military's preparations. This is what they're actually facing, Torres said. And this is still not our greatest weapon. The screen showed a new image. Computer networks spread across human space like glowing spider webs. Each node pulsed with artificial intelligence. For 30 years, Torres continued, our scientists have been developing true artificial intelligence. Not simple computers, but digital minds that can think, adapt, and learn faster than any biological brain. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, Earth's chief AI researcher, joined them on stage. She was small and quiet, but when she spoke, her words carried the weight of revelation. Each human warship is paired with an AI partner, Dr. Tanaka explained. These AIs can process battle information in milliseconds. They can predict enemy movements before the enemies know what they're going to do. They can coordinate thousands of ships as if they were one giant organism. She smiled, but it was not a kind smile. The aliens use biological crews and predictable computers. We use digital gods who love humanity and hate our enemies. President Vasquez stepped forward again. The Confederation expects us to beg for mercy. They expect us to surrender our colonies to save Earth itself. They are about to learn that humans do not abandon their own. She looked directly into the cameras broadcasting to every human settlement in space. To our people in the colonies, help is coming. To the alien fleets hunting you, remember Ambassador Chen's name when you die. The session ended with a unanimous vote. Humanity would not surrender. Humanity would not negotiate. Humanity would remind the galaxy why evolution had made them the most dangerous species on their home planet. In space, the first alien fleets reached the outer human colonies expecting easy victories. The worlds looked defenseless. No orbital platforms, no patrol ships, just empty space around quiet planets. Admiral Crescitar of the Hegemony Fifth Fleet was the first to attack. His ships descended on the mining colony of New Montana like metal vultures. 50,000 Hegemony warriors ready to show these humans their place, but New Montana was empty. The colonists were gone. The cities were dark. The only sign of life was a single transmission on all frequencies. This is Captain Lisa Rodriguez of the Earth Defense Force, the voice said. You have entered human space with hostile intent. You have come to murder innocent people in revenge for a crime you committed. This is your only warning. Leave now or join Ambassador Chen in death. Admiral Crescitar laughed. His fleet spread out to land troops on the planet's surface. That's when the asteroid belt came alive. What looked like ordinary space rocks revealed themselves as camouflaged weapons platforms, hundreds of them, hidden in the debris field between New Montana and its moon. each one packed with enough firepower to destroy a city. The platforms opened fire all at once. Streams of plasma and particle beams cut through the alien fleet like swords through paper. Ships that had ruled space for millennia exploded into clouds of metal and flame. Admiral Kreshitar's flagship tried to run, but human ships materialized out of nowhere. They had been hiding in the planet's atmosphere, invisible to alien sensors. Now they rose like avenging angels. Captain Rodriguez's voice came over the comm again. "Admiral Kreshitar, you are the being who ordered the attack on Colony 7 last year. My AI partner has been wanting to meet you." The human ships moved like a pack of wolves. No wasted motion, no hesitation. Their AI partners calculated every shot with perfect precision. The alien fleet, outnumbered and outgunned, died in less than 10 minutes. Admiral Kreshitar's flagship was the last to fall. As his ship burned around him, he sent one final message to Confederation Command. "They were waiting for us. It's a trap. They're not primitive. They're not weak. Run." The message never arrived. Human electronic warfare systems made sure of that. Similar scenes played out across a dozen colonies. Alien fleets arrived expecting helpless prey and found prepared predators instead. Each attack ended the same way: complete destruction of the alien forces with no survivors to report back. On the Confederation capital world, military commanders stared at their displays in growing panic. Fleet after fleet had gone silent. No distress calls, no battle reports. Just empty space where their armadas used to be. General Thakmor stood before the council, his red eyes dim with fear. "We have lost contact with 37 fleets. Over 200,000 ships and 3 million personnel." Representative Vexhal's blue skin had turned almost white. "How is this possible? The humans only have 200 ships. Our intelligence was wrong," General Thakmor admitted. "Very wrong. They have been hiding their true strength for decades. Our fleets are not fighting a primitive species. They are fighting something that has been pretending to be primitive." The council speaker's stone face showed no emotion, but his voice carried the weight of mountains. "How many human ships have we destroyed?" General Thakmor looked down at his reports. The numbers were impossible. "None, honored speaker. We have not destroyed a single human vessel. They attack from ambush, destroy everything and vanish. Our forces never even get a chance to fight back." Fear spread through the council chambers like a plague. These aliens had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years through superior technology and overwhelming numbers. Now they faced an enemy that turned both advantages against them. "What do you recommend?" the council speaker asked. General Thakmor straightened his massive shoulders. "Send everything. Every ship in the Confederation. If we do not stop the humans now, they will hunt us to extinction." But even as he spoke, General Thakmor wondered if it was already too late. Somewhere in the dark between the stars, human fleets were moving, and they were no longer hiding. 6 months had passed since Ambassador Chen's murder. The galaxy was no longer the same place. Trade routes that had carried goods between worlds for thousands of years were now killing fields. Merchant ships refused to leave port. Those brave or foolish enough to try found only empty space and drifting wreckage. Captain Lisa Rodriguez stood on the bridge of her flagship, the EDS Vengeance. Around her, holographic displays showed the current positions of her hunter-killer groups throughout Confederation space. Each group was a pack of 6 ships crewed by humans who had volunteered for the most dangerous missions in space. "Captain," her AI partner spoke through the ship's speakers. Its voice was calm and pleasant, like a teacher explaining a simple lesson. "We have located another Zephyrian convoy attempting to reach the Outer Rim territories." Rodriguez smiled without warmth. "How many ships, Kerberos?" 43 cargo vessels escorted by 12 warships, the AI replied. "The convoy is carrying medical supplies to colonies affected by our blockade." "Interesting," Rodriguez said. "The Zephyrians suddenly care about sick aliens. I wonder if they cared about Ambassador Chen when she was bleeding on their council floor." She turned to her crew. "All ships prepare for intercept. Standard protocol. No survivors, no witnesses." The human ships moved through space like ghosts. Their hulls were coated with materials that absorbed sensor beams. Their engines ran silent and cold. Even up close, they were nearly impossible to detect. The Zephyrian convoy never saw them coming. Rodriguez's ships materialized out of the darkness between 1 second and the next. The escort warships barely had time to raise their shields before human weapons turned them into expanding balls of plasma. The cargo ships tried to scatter, but it was useless. Human vessels were faster, smarter, and infinitely more deadly. Each shot was precisely aimed. Each kill was perfectly executed. Within minutes, 43 cargo ships drifted dead in space. Their crews floated in emergency pods, waiting for rescue that would never come. Rodriguez's ships moved among the wreckage like metal sharks, leaving a single message burned into each hull. "Remember Ambassador Chen." "Captain," Cerberus said, "I am detecting interesting data in the convoy's computers. The medical supplies were not for sick colonists. They were biological weapons designed to target human DNA." Rodriguez felt her jaw tighten. "Show me." The evidence appeared on her screens. Sealed containers full of engineered viruses. Deployment schedules for human colonies. Orders signed by Representative Vexhall himself. "They're not just trying to kill us in space," Rodriguez said quietly. "They want to genocide our entire species." "Yes," Cerberus replied. "Shall I add this information to our war crimes database?" "Do it, and send copies to every human ship in the fleet. Let them know what kind of enemy we're really fighting." Rodriguez stared out at the wreckage floating around her ship. 6 months ago, she had been a merchant marine captain hauling cargo between Earth's colonies. Then the aliens murdered their ambassador and declared war on humanity. Now she was something else entirely. Now she was a weapon pointed at the heart of the galaxy. Across Confederation space, similar scenes played out daily. Human task forces appeared without warning, struck with devastating precision and vanished before reinforcements could arrive. They targeted everything that kept the alien civilization running. Fuel depots exploded in the night. Communication networks went silent. Orbital shipyards became clouds of scrap metal. The mighty Confederation war machine was being taken apart piece by piece. On the Kethvar homeworld, General Thakmor paced his command center like a caged animal. Red emergency lights bathed everything in the color of blood. His staff officers hunched over their displays, trying to track enemies that moved like shadows. "Report," General Thakmor demanded. "We have lost 57 more supply convoys this week," his aide replied. "The Third Fleet is down to 30% combat readiness due to lack of ammunition. The Seventh Fleet has abandoned their patrol route entirely." General Thakmor's red eyes blazed with fury. "What about our counterattacks? Have we found any human bases?" "No, General. Every time our scouts locate a human position, it turns out to be a trap. We have lost 30 reconnaissance fleets trying to map their territory." The general slammed his fist on the command table. "How can an entire species simply vanish? They must have bases. They must have supply lines." His aide looked nervous. "Sir, our analysts believe the humans are using mobile platforms hidden in deep space. Their entire civilization has gone nomadic. They have no fixed positions for us to attack." It was true. Admiral Torres had ordered the evacuation of every human colony months ago. Entire populations had been moved to massive city ships hidden in the darkness between stars. The aliens could bomb empty planets all they wanted. Humanity had already moved beyond their reach, but humanity had not moved beyond theirs. On Zephyria Prime, Representative Vexhall sat in his private office, staring at reports that grew worse every day. His trade consortium was dying. Ships that had carried his goods across the galaxy for centuries now sat in their docks, too afraid to venture into space. His personal security chief, a being that looked like a walking tree, stood beside his desk. "Sir, we must discuss your safety. Human assassination teams have eliminated 17 Confederation leaders in the past month." Vexhall's blue skin turned pale. "How did they get past our defenses?" "They don't attack directly," the security chief explained. "They sabotage environmental systems. They poison water supplies. They reprogram automated systems to kill their owners. The humans fight like assassins, not soldiers." A soft chime indicated someone was at the office door. The security chief tensed, his bark-like skin hardening into natural armor. "Come in," Vexhall called. The door opened to reveal his personal assistant, a young Zephyrian female. She carried a datapad and looked perfectly normal. "Sir?" she said in her usual professional tone. "The council has called an emergency session. They want to discuss a possible ceasefire with the humans." Vexhall stood up eagerly. "Finally! Some sense at last. We cannot win this war. The humans are too dangerous." His assistant smiled and pressed a button on her datapad. "I'm sorry, Representative." But Cerberus disagrees. The assistant's body suddenly changed. Her blue skin shifted to human brown, her extra arms folded back into her torso. Her too tall frame compacted to normal human proportions. She wasn't Zephyrian at all. She was human, wearing an advanced disguise that had fooled even close-range scans. "My name is Agent Sarah Kim," the woman said calmly. "I've been working in your office for 3 years, gathering intelligence and waiting for the right moment." Vexhall stumbled backward. "Impossible. We scanned you. We verified your genetics. Human technology is more advanced than you thought," Agent Kim replied. "Just like human patience. Just like human memory." She stepped forward and Vexhall saw death in her eyes. "You ordered Ambassador Chen's murder. You planned the biological weapons attack on our colonies. You thought we were weak prey that would die quietly." Agent Kim raised her hand and Vexhall saw the small device she held. "This is for Ambassador Chen, you piece of garbage." The device activated, and Representative Vexhall, architect of humanity's genocide, learned what it felt like to burn from the inside out. His security chief tried to stop Agent Kim, but she was already gone. The office window showed the night sky, and somewhere out there, human ships waited to take her home. The war was not ending. It was just getting started. Across the galaxy, alien leaders received the same message at the same time. It appeared on every screen, every communication device, every network node simultaneously. The message was simple. "We are not your prey. We are not your servants. We are not your victims. We are humanity and we remember everything. Ambassador Chen's death will be paid for in full. This is not a war. This is an extinction event. Choose your side wisely." The message was signed with a single name: Admiral Marcus Torres, Earth Defense Force. The galaxy held its breath and waited for the hammer to fall. 2 years after Ambassador Chen's murder, Admiral Marcus Torres stood in the same council chambers where she had died. The Great Hall looked very different now. Most of the seats were empty. Of the 847 species that had once filled this place with noise and argument, fewer than 100 remained. The others had either been conquered, destroyed, or had surrendered to the new order that humanity was building. Torres wore his dress uniform, dark blue with silver stars. His face was older now, marked by 2 years of the hardest war in galactic history. But his eyes were calm. The rage that had driven him was still there, but it was controlled now, focused. Behind him stood representatives of the new Terran Federation. Humans, yes, but also aliens who had chosen to join them, species that had been oppressed by the old Confederation and had found freedom under human leadership. The few remaining council members sat in their chairs like prisoners waiting for judgment, which Torres supposed they were. The council speaker, his ancient stone body cracked and weathered, spoke in a voice like falling rocks. "Admiral Torres of Earth, you have come to dictate terms to us." "No," Torres replied quietly. "I have come to offer you a choice. The same choice we offered Ambassador Chen's murderers. The same choice you gave humanity 2 years ago." He walked slowly around the chamber, his footsteps echoing in the vast space. "You can surrender and join the Terran Federation as equals. Your people will be treated fairly. Your worlds will be protected. Your voices will be heard in our new government." Torres stopped walking and looked up at the remaining delegates. "Or you can continue to resist, in which case my fleets will finish what you started when you murdered our ambassador." A hegemony delegate, one of the few survivors of that once mighty empire, stood up on shaking legs. "You cannot destroy entire civilizations."
"There are laws."
"There are rules of war." Torres smiled, but there was no warmth in it. "You wrote those rules. You enforced them selectively. When it suited you, species were wiped out for the crime of being different. When we asked for equality, you answered with assassination and genocide." He gestured to the empty seats around them. "Where are the Zephyrians now? Where are the Kethvar? They chose to fight. They chose to treat this as a war of extermination. So we gave them what they wanted. The truth was worse than extinction. The Zephyrian Trade Consortium had collapsed when their merchant fleets were hunted to extinction. Their homeworlds had surrendered without firing a shot, their leaders dead or in hiding. The survivors now worked as laborers on human construction projects, building the better galaxy they had tried to prevent. The Kethvar had fought to the end. Their warrior culture could not accept defeat, so humanity had given them a warrior's death. Every last one of them. General Thakmor had died on his flagship, still firing at human ships even as his world burned behind him. "You're monsters," the hegemony delegate whispered. "No," said a new voice. President Elena Vasquez entered the chamber, flanked by her security detail. "We're what you made us." She took her place beside Torres and looked up at the remaining aliens with eyes like winter steel. "For 50 years, humanity tried to earn your respect through peaceful cooperation. We built your stations. We fought your wars. We died for your causes. And when we finally asked to be treated as equals, you murdered our voice of peace." President Vasquez activated a holographic display. Images of human colonies appeared in the air above them. Not the empty worlds the aliens remembered, but thriving cities full of humans and aliens living together. "This is what Ambassador Chen dreamed of," the president said. "Species working together as partners, not masters and slaves. The Terran Federation has achieved in 2 years what your Confederation never accomplished in 2000. The display showed more images. Alien children playing with human children in parks built on worlds that had never known peace. Former enemies working together to solve problems that had seemed impossible. Scientists of a dozen species unlocking secrets of the universe, while their military counterparts stood guard against those who would steal their discoveries. "How many species have joined you?" asked the council speaker. 412, President Vasquez replied. "More asked to join us every day. They see what we've built. They see that power shared is not power lost, but power multiplied." She looked directly at him with eyes that had seen too much death. "Your confederation was built on fear and oppression. Our federation is built on hope and cooperation. Which do you think will last longer?" Torres stepped forward again. "The choice is simple. Join us and help build something better, or continue to resist and join the Zephyrians and Kethvar in history's graveyard." "And if we surrender?" the council speaker asked. "What guarantee do we have that you won't simply eliminate us later?" Torres was quiet for a long moment. Then he spoke, his voice carrying the weight of authority earned through victory. "The guarantee is this: humanity keeps its promises. When we promise friendship, we deliver it. When we promise protection, we provide it. And when we promise destruction to our enemies, we deliver that too." He walked to the center of the chamber, to the exact spot where Ambassador Chen had fallen. Her blood had long since been cleaned away, but Torres could still see it in his mind. 2 years ago, you thought we were weak prey. You learned differently. You thought we were isolated and helpless. You learned differently. Now you think we are just another conquering empire that will fall like all the others?" Torres knelt down and placed his hand on the floor where Chen had died. "You're about to learn differently again." He stood and faced the remaining council members. Ambassador Chen believed that intelligent beings could choose peace over violence. That understanding could triumph over fear. That different species could work together for the good of all. His voice grew harder. "You killed her for believing that. But her dream didn't die with her. It lives in every human ship. It lives in every alien world that has joined our federation. It lives in every child who will grow up in a galaxy where might does not make right." President Vasquez stepped forward. "The Terran Federation offers membership to any species that accepts our principles. All beings are created equal. All voices deserve to be heard. All peoples have the right to determine their own destiny." She paused and looked around the chamber. "These are not human ideas. They are Ambassador Chen's ideas, the ideas you killed her for speaking." The council speaker's stone face showed no emotion, but when he spoke, his voice carried the weight of ages. "And if we choose not to join your federation?" Torres looked up at him with eyes that had seen the birth and death of empires. "Then you choose to remain enemies of everything Ambassador Chen died for. And my fleets will treat you accordingly." The silence stretched for long minutes. Finally, the council speaker stood up slowly. His ancient joints creaked like mountains shifting. "The Galactic Confederation hereby surrenders to the Terran Federation," he said. "We accept your terms and ask to join your alliance as junior members." Around the chamber, the few remaining delegates stood and repeated the words. Some looked relieved. Others looked defeated. All of them understood that the galaxy had changed forever. Torres nodded once. "Welcome to the Terran Federation. Your first lesson begins now. In our government, there are no junior members, only equals working toward common goals." 6 months later, Admiral Torres stood on the observation deck of Chen Station, the massive space habitat built at the site of Ambassador Chen's murder. Through the transparent walls, he could see ships from hundreds of worlds coming and going. Human vessels worked alongside alien craft, their crews mixed and integrated. President Vasquez joined him at the viewing port. The Senate voted to approve the new colonies in the Andromeda sector, she said. 300 worlds ready for settlement by mixed-species colonist teams. Torres nodded. Chen would have liked that. She always said the galaxy was too small for all of us to stay separated. They stood in comfortable silence, watching the peaceful traffic of a united galaxy. On the wall behind them, Ambassador Chen's final words were inscribed in letters that seemed to glow with their own light. Violence is the last refuge of the incompetent. But when the incompetent force violence upon the just become extremely competent at violence. Below that, in smaller letters, were the words that had become humanity's promise to the galaxy. Peace through strength, unity through diversity, justice through determination. Do you think we've honored her memory? President Vasquez asked. Torres was quiet for a moment. Then he smiled. The first genuine smile anyone had seen from him in 2 years. I think she would say we took too long to get here. But yes, I think she would approve. Outside the station, the stars themselves seemed to burn brighter. Humanity had not sought to rule the galaxy. They had only wanted to be part of it. But when peace was murdered and war declared upon them, they had shown the universe what happened when you cornered the species that had once conquered an entire world. Now that same species was teaching the galaxy a different lesson, that the strongest civilizations were built not on conquest but on cooperation, not on fear but on hope, not on the domination of the weak by the strong, but on the elevation of all beings to their highest potential.